The reason why Dragon Ball, Naruto, and One Piece is so popular is that they're retelling an ancient story. It's hard to really get across how amazing these series are. They've accumulated tens of billions of dollars each, sold hundreds of millions of copies of the manga, also broken Guinness World Records, become cultural phenomenon, and even being used as symbols in protests around the world. They're quirky, they're fun, they're adventurous, but so's everything else. What makes these so popular and stand the test of time? The reason is that they're actually all the same story, and they're actually all copying an ancient story. A story about a mysterious figure known as the Monkey King. Well, actually, he's not that mysterious. He's really well known in Asia, but not so much in the West. So I want to talk about who the Monkey King was, how it matches and maps on to these three anime. And there's a deeper reason of why these stories resonate so much with young men. And once you see the parallels, it's hard to unsee. So let's start with where it all comes from. The Monkey King himself, or more commonly known in China as Journey to the West. It's hard for Western minds to understand how culturally significant this story is in the minds of the Eastern world. It's like how we might view Shakespeare, but with a spiritual religious element as well. Not quite like the Bible, but maybe more like Greek mythology. In China, it's one of the four great classics. So what happens in The Monkey King? I'll give you the abridged version. The Monkey King was born out of a stone in the mountains with other monkeys. He quickly becomes their king by saving them from danger, and from there his power keeps increasing through training, and he rebels against heaven's bureaucracy itself, getting a 500-year imprisonment. That's the first part of the story, and there's a lot more to it. The second part of the story is where the journey begins, and we meet the second most important character, a Buddhist monk named Xuanzang. Xuanzang lives in the city of Xuanzang, and he's really annoyed at all the people there because they've deviated from true Buddhism. They're immoral, they're riddled with crime, and so he's tasked by Buddha himself to travel from China to go to India where Buddhism originated to collect some scrolls so that he can restore true worship in the city of Xuanzang. But there's a problem. This journey is extremely dangerous. There's perils and monsters and wizards that want to kill, kidnap, and eat the monk. So Buddha assigns him three helpers on this journey. First is the Monkey King. Second is a pig deity named Pigsy. And third is a sand deity named Sandy. These three go on lots of adventures with lots of side quests, helping different villages and individuals along the way, finding objects that people lost. And throughout this, they become stronger and stronger. And the dynamic and how these personalities fit together, we'll get to later, but that really maps onto the anime. So how does this first connect to these famous anime? First of all, the journey itself. The monk having to get these scrolls parallels with collecting the Dragon Balls in Dragon Ball, or Naruto's goal to become Hokage and to rescue Sasuke, and of course, Luffy and the Grand Line and looking for the One Piece and becoming the Pirate King. In all these stories, we see that there's a goal greater than the members themselves, which help them grow and help them stick together. The journey symbolizes life's obstacles. Heroes don't win alone. They build strength from failures, and they become better by having people to care about. Next is the companions. They're kind of like archetypes or characterizations of aspects of a human. In Greek mythology, we find this thing where a lot of the deities actually map on to human traits, and that'll be their name, like greed or fear or lust. We see this in the Monkey King as well. Pigsy represents the id, or human desires. He's lazy, he's lustful, he's greedy, he's cowardly, but has a good heart in the end. We see him echoed in Oolong in Dragon Ball, clearly a direct reference to him being a pig. Or think of Choji in Naruto, or Usopp's cowardice and lying in One Piece, or Sanji's drooling over girls. The Pigsy character is kind of the comedic relief as well, which is in stark contrast to Sandy. Sandy's very different from Pigsy. Sandy formerly was a general in the Heavenly Army. He's very disciplined, very strong, and not about any nonsense. And his dynamic with Pigsy sort of is a balancing act between the Epicurean going after fleshly desires of Pigsy and the too cynical, strong, and too disciplined, the cold, mean almost like a villain archetype in Sandy. We can see echoes of Sandy in Vegeta or Piccolo. Actually, Sandy once being a little bit of a rival to the Monkey King, but then being brought around, just like Piccolo and Vegeta. We also see this in Sasuke in Naruto, or think of Gaara, literally a sand deity. And in One Piece, we see the best personification of this in Zoro. Hard, disciplined, strong, no nonsense, but extremely loyal. And let's not forget the monk. Who does he represent? The monk doesn't have any powers. He represents vulnerability, but he also keeps the team on track. Even though he's not as strong as the others, they listen to him. He's constantly berating the Monkey King for being too violent, for Sandy being too harsh, and for Pigsy being too greedy and lazy. He's the adult of the group. He's the purpose keeper and also the moral compass. He's the quest setter. We see this echoed in Bulma, or think of Sakura in Naruto, or Nami in One Piece. All of these stories have a greater goal where all these different personalities clash, but by the end of it, they all become better, stronger people. So what about the Monkey King himself? What's not surprising, in Chinese mythology, a monkey often represents the human heart or childishness. When Akira Toriyama made Dragon Ball, he directly linked it to the Monkey King. It wasn't any surprise to anyone, with Goku even sharing the name with son Wukong. The Monkey King can actually transform into 72 different things, one being a table, but he always keeps his tail. We see this in Dragon Ball as well. Naruto is also very monkey-like. He's childish, he doesn't fit with the rules, he's a bit of a prankster. And Luffy, with his stretching limbs, are very monkey-like. And this also is a parallel of Sun Wukong's staff, which can stretch. But let's not forget his name, Monkey D. Luffy. And here's where the really interesting part comes in. Why is this story so popular? It's clearly the fact is that this is the story of every young man. What's more boyish and childlike and silly than a monkey? And what's more strong and mature and grown than a hero? The Monkey King is a version of the hero's journey. It's the fool becomes the hero. Because in all of these stories, these protagonists start off as silly and childlike, and by the end, they become the hero that their friends and family need. I think these stories almost have a kind of Darwinian evolution to them, where as they're retold over time, we, whether consciously or subconsciously, keep the bits which resonate with us and forget the rest. And we're left with this highly condensed, symbolic story of our own journey. We all are the Monkey King. We all start off as children, silly, pranksters, and then as we go through our teenage years, we butt heads with people, but then we grow and they become our friends as well. We have to fight different inclinations like our selfish desires of cowardice or greed, or our pride and ego of being too strong and disciplined that we look down on others and shield all our vulnerability. We all need a greater purpose and a moral compass to keep us on track so that we can become adults in society. We all face trials, school, jobs, failures, breakups. We gather friends who are flawed just like us, the greedy, the stoic, the idealistic, and we have to lead them and lead ourselves to become something more. Even if our hero moment is just becoming a functional adult. It's not surprising that all of these manga series are in a category in Japan called Shonen manga. Shonen literally meaning young man. These stories are built for that age, but they hit adults too because they tell the subconscious story that we all live. Fool to hero, chaos to balance, rebellion to purpose. That's why Goku, Naruto, Luffy never get old. They're us. Anyway, that's a Monkey King connection that I've been really interested in for a while. I hope I've summarized it in a clear way. There's a lot more to it all, and if you found it interesting, let me know. If you're an expert in the field and I got something wrong, let me know as well. Or maybe you saw some parallels. I didn't. I only really scratched the surface. But please subscribe. I've only got 56 subscribers, and leave a comment. I'll have a look. I want to do more of these, and let me know if you're interested in seeing some other kind of like ancient mythology, modern culture crossover.